Well, well, well. It has been a while since we've been in the garage, hasn't it?
To do anything practical.
Yeah. What's the date today?
15th.
15th of November. So it's at least 10 days, maybe even 2 weeks or so since we worked on this. Well, at least since we filmed this.
Yeah.
There has been a little bit of action in the meantime. You can see a new tyre on the front. You can see Squirrel Jobby Nutkins has become my mascot here. I have fitted some very cheap £4.29 heated grips from eBay, the type that just wrap around and get covered with what's it called?
Insulation tape?
Yeah, heat shrink, that's the stuff I'm looking for. So yeah, that happened. The battery is back on. The rear is not back together yet, it is where we left it. We've got the suspension units we replaced last time. So today we're going to put on the rear wheel, which also has a new tyre. I've got a new rear sprocket, new chain, new front sprocket. So some of that wasn't filmed, i.e. the front sprocket, the rear sprocket, the tyres and all that, because it's fairly self-explanatory and or a pain in the ass to film, like changing the tyres. And I'm sure there are a bazillion videos on YouTube about changing tyres, and you can go and watch one of those. Hey! Woo! So right now, we're going to start putting this back end back together. If you're curious, these tyres are Metzeler ME22s front and back. Standard sizes, recommended highly on the CG125 group. Seem like good tyres, got good reviews. Not too expensive actually, pretty decent price. I think they were from Demon Tweaks, I think had the best price. They were £60 delivered for both of them, which I think, considering they're a decent tyre, is a good price.
Investment.
On tyres, I'll not ruin the surprise too much, but here are some more tyres and some more rims. They are not for this CG125. This is for another secret project coming soon. As for the heated grips, as I mentioned, they were very cheap. I am not expecting them to be very good, but the budget wasn't there for some proper ones. So in the meantime, I thought we'll give the £4 ones a go and see how we get on. So I need to test those and I will let you know how we get on. There's the rear wheel in loosely for now. We put the spindle through with obviously the chain adjuster. The smaller of the two washers is on this side. Then we go all the way around and through to the big chunky washer thing, big spacer, another chain adjuster, and then the nut on the end. We've got the rear brake drum arm thing attached back on, and underneath that, if you can see it, we've got the torque arm again connected loosely. So now we're going to put the chain on and get that set up.
The chain adjusters, John, which way around do we want to make sure that is?
We did it the wrong way around first time round. Yeah. It's flat there, and then it should bend outwards in this direction and then go out there. Yeah, we just did it the wrong way around the first time, but we weren't really paying attention. So they are now the correct way around. We've just routed the new chain where it needs to go, obviously behind all this lot, around the front sprocket and back out the bottom. So now we're going to fit the connecting link. I've gone for the link type, well, for no particular reason. I got some spare links because if ever it snaps or anything, I might be able to repair it at the side of the road. So we'll see how that goes. We'll do that now. If you've not used these little clippy things before, they're pretty easy to use. What happens is, get my hands to work, this comes through from the back through both parts of the chain, on both ends of the chain. Then you put the little piece there on, and then this bit clips over the front to hold that in place. It does need the closed end here, the closed end pointing in the direction of the chain travel. So as the wheel goes forwards in this direction, the chain is going to be coming along here, round the back of the wheel and up and over there. So what that means for us with the clip is that the open end faces towards the front of the bike, as we're doing it on the bottom here, and the closed end goes along the bottom run, round the wheel and along the top like that, like a little swimming fishy. I hope that made sense. Didn't make much sense to me. I feel like I was just waffling. But hey, let's put that on. It's probably easier to just show you this.
Or attempt to.
So both ends of the chain.
I've got my clumsy gloves on again. I'm just going to take those off for now. But we've slackened off the adjusters so that we've got plenty of room to play with.
Yes, so now you can see a clip link there.
So over the top. This one, something of that nature, and then little plier thingies. Oop. Almost. There we are. Eventually easy.
Excellent. So as you can see, Kieran's just clipped that on there, which means as the wheel goes around in its normal direction, the chain's going along the bottom there, and so the closed end of the link was going along in the direction of travel.
And that's probably the perfect tension straight out the bag.
Yeah. So we'll check the tension. Oh, that's, yeah.
Perfect.
We might need to tighten that up a little bit.
20, 25.
So now it's just a case of tightening up the chain, getting the tension right as you would normally, and then keeping an eye on it, because with a new chain it does tend to stretch fairly quickly, but then it kind of settles out. So keep your eye on it for the first week or two and
X amount of miles.
see how you go. Right, let's do the chain tension. I've just checked in the manual what the chain tension should be. The free plane, it should be between 10 and 20 mil on the bottom run. I think some of the earlier CG125s were a little bit more than that, but this is an ES4 model and it needs to be between 10 and 20 mil. So let's aim at 15, shall we?
Somewhere, and that's in the roughly the middle part of between the two sprockets, am I right?
Whereabouts then, Kieran? Show us.
Somewhere about here.
Alright, so somewhere in the middle on that bottom run there should be between 10 and 20 mil of play for it to be the correct tension. We've just been messing with the tension on this new chain to try and get that right, and we've measured it now. We've got the rear wheel all tightened up, the adjuster nuts are all tightened up, the lock nuts are tightened up, so everything is tight now how it should be. And
Other than the torque arm.
Other than the torque arm, but that can come later. So it is at this point that we need to just definitely ensure that we've got the correct chain tension. So Kieran's going to measure that for us. We've just got a steel ruler. You just pick like a rivet link or some recognisable point.
Yep.
Put the ruler against it.
So I'm kind of looking sort of about here. Well, it's just that fraction over 26 to the bottom of that link, and then you give it a press up as much as it'll go, and that's certainly within its minimum 10 to 20.
Yeah. So we have within 10 to 20 millimeters of movement available in that chain in the centre of the lower run. So that is the correct tension for now, at least, until it slackens off with a little bit of use. But that's how I've measured that. Everything's tight, so we're going to tighten up the torque arm, put the chain guard back on, the front sprocket cover, and then I think that's the rear end done.
Then it's obviously burnouts and donut practice.
Oh yeah, you got to scrub your new tyres in with some tasty burnouts. Round on this side then, Kieran's just put the nut there for the torque arm back in with the split pin. Don't forget the split pin. We need to adjust the rear brake to make sure that that's working where it should do.
Alignment.
Yeah,
we
alignment. We did not mention that. You can see on this side here there are some marks on the swing arm, and you can't see it very clearly. There's a little mark on the adjuster itself, and at the minute that is just this side of the first mark there. It is the same on both sides. Now these things are a rough guide to alignment. You can't rely on them entirely. We have in our time seen some that align perfectly and are well made, and that's wonderful because it means you can rely on them.
Yeah.
we have also seen some that are not particularly well made.
Struck from a distance.
Yeah, they were cast by a blind man, perhaps. So yeah, you can't rely on
In
them.
a dark room.
In that case, you would need to check your alignment in another method. That is not something we're going to go into in this video. We are just showing you our progress in putting this back end together. Boom! Like a boss. Chains on. New sprocket. Front and rear. Front sprocket covers back on. Chain guards on.
All sorts of things. Tensions, bolts, nuts, things, mechanical jobs, business, action.
So are we saying that's the back end back together?
That does seem to be all the necessary mechanical stuff
Yeah.
fitted.
We did notice something, which
Yeah.
is that these suspension units, which you'll remember are officially for a Yamaha YBR125, they are fractionally longer, as I mentioned when we fitted them. What that does mean, I didn't really think it through, what that does mean is that the rear wheel, when we're on the centre stand, is a little bit harder to turn because it is just scrubbing on the floor there, which it wouldn't do if the suspension units weren't that little bit longer. But I think we'll see how we go. It's not really a problem, to be honest. And once they've bedded in a little bit, they might settle down. We might not have that
manage.
problem. Well, we'll see.
We'll
We'll
just
see.
manage.
We'll just see. So for now, that's the back end back together. What is left to do? Obviously, there are no plastics or anything on this yet. The fuel tank is obviously off. We need to work out some kind of solution for the side stand, because if you remember, it doesn't have one. There was some talk about trying to weld one, trying to fabricate one from random bits of metal and things we have lying about the place. To buy one would cost £13. I have pretty much hit the limit of the budget, which, if you remember, was £500, including the purchase of the bike.
So maybe.
So we shall have to maybe.
Scrap bit.
Yeah, we've been collecting all sorts of random bits of metal and chain and things that have come off various vehicles in the past. So we might have to root through there and see what we can come up
There's
with.
some more.
Oh yeah, look, there's some more metal. It doesn't really need a side stand. It will pass an MOT without one, and
It's convenience.
yeah, it's just a convenience thing. So there's that conundrum to worry about. I have also bought, to fit over here, I've got one of these phone mounts. It's just the same as this one. It's one of these like that, and it's got a 12-volt charger on the side there.
On the full range of your vehicles. I
Yeah.
see, John.
One on that one on that one, and then there'll be one on this one.
Hanson approved.
Yeah, they've been really handy. If ever we've been out and about on tour or just riding round, they are super handy to have. So I have got one for this. It was £13, and that did pretty much finish off the budget. We'll see. I'll give you a budget update when we've actually finished it, but we are more or less at £500 now. Just an MOT to go. So that's it for now. The back end is back together. We're going to go and have some lunch, and then we're probably going to tackle this secret tyre job that we're not telling you about yet. And then I'll probably have to get off and go to work. So for now, that's us. Hope it's been useful as ever. If you've got any questions, I know we did do some things like fitting the sprockets and without actually filming it. Do you know what? Couldn't be bothered, I'll be honest. If you've got any specific questions, just leave us a comment. You can always like this video if it was useful. And of course, what you got to do, Kieran?
Make it better!
Yeah. But what I meant was you got to subscribe. Please subscribe. Bye.